everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. This is week 5 of my summer series. Hi, everyone joining on Instagram and on Facebook. This is my first time doing it on Instagram Live as well, so bear with me as I'm just making sure everything is getting set up. All right, thanks so much for joining me live, you guys. Today, for our summer series, it's all about self-care, and self-care is honestly one of my favorite things to chat about because it's something that we don't often make a priority. Hi, how are you? And so honestly, this is one of the biggest things that I have worked on myself, as well as I coach so many moms through self-care, because it really is something that we all struggle with. I don't know if it's something that you struggle with. It's something that I used to, for a very long time, struggle with making myself a priority. As a very busy mom of 3 kiddos, I found it really hard to make myself a priority. I would say I was too busy. I would feel extreme guilt on the rare times that I actually did put myself as a priority. And I found myself getting burnt out very easily. I would lose my temper with my kids. I would just find myself burnt out. Like I said, I was giving constantly to everybody else, taking care of the home, working, taking care of the kids, my husband, and I just found myself burnt out. Can anyone relate with me on this? Because I know that there are others out there that this is a very hard thing for them to do, and it's hard. It just is. I'll be completely honest. It's probably the number one thing that moms, when they come to me for coaching, self-care is either very inconsistent or it's non-existent. It's just not a part of something that they do. So that is something that I work with a lot of moms on, and I have to practice it on a daily basis myself, or else I fall back into old patterns, old habits, and it's just not somewhere that I want to find myself again, because I didn't like who I was when I wasn't taking care of myself. You can't pour from an empty cup. I know a lot of people have heard that before, and guys, it's so true. You can't be who you're meant to be and give to others the way that you need to if you're not taking care of yourself, right? And so I'm going to share with you ways that you can make yourself a priority, no matter where you find yourself in life. And so I'm going to jump right in, because it's something I get really excited talking to other people about. If you have any questions as I'm sharing, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, feel free to ask any questions that you have or share your experience. What does your self-care practice look like right now? If you are doing a great job with it, I applaud you, and that is so awesome, because you're on your way to, just taking care of yourself, which is a really awesome thing. And if you're struggling, don't worry. I'm going to give you some tips and some ways that you can begin a self-care practice today. All right, so here we go. There's no such thing as perfection. I like to share that right away, because we often think that we need to be perfect in all different areas of life, but especially with self-care, there is no such thing as perfection. But there are ways to make self-care into a habit and to make it easier to practice, to lessen that guilt, and to just make yourself a priority. So there are 5 main types of self-care. A lot of people only focus on the physical aspect of self-care. That tends to be the one that people think of right away. Eating healthy, getting exercise, getting a manicure or pedicure, or doing those kinds of things, which are all really awesome things to do. But there's way more than just the physical side of self-care. There's also mental, emotional, practical, and spiritual. So I'm going to say those again. You've got physical, which is the main one that most people think of. So you have physical, mental, emotional, practical, and spiritual, all 5. So I'm going to give a couple examples of each. If you want a more in-depth list, let me know. I have created some for my one-on-one clients. So let me know. I'd be happy to send that to you. So physical, I gave you a couple of those. Mental are things like reading or doing a puzzle or reading is like the biggest one that I can think of because there's so many books out there that you can fill your mind with things that you love to do, right? So mental is a really good one. Emotional, practicing forgiveness is a really big one. Being honest about the way that you feel, journaling is a really good way to practice emotional self-care that you can do on your own. You don't have to include another person in that. And so journaling is definitely something that I have incorporated into my routine on a pretty regular basis. So there's emotional, practical, cleaning out your closet. You don't often think of cleaning out your closet as being a way to practice practical self-care, but I'm here to tell you that when you organize your closet and organize like your office space or, get your finances in order, you have this sense of calm, this sense of relief, this sense of like, yeah, I did this and I feel great. At least I do. So that is a very simple way to show yourself some self-care is through just organizing or cleaning up or, getting some things in order, whether it's finances or creating a like food eating list. I'm like totally blanking on what that's called. But, like getting those things in order is a really great way to show self-care to yourself and making yourself a priority. Spiritual, you can pray, you can meditate. Those are like the 2 really big ones. Also, like showing yourself massive amounts of love is a way to show yourself spiritual self-care. I even like going for hikes and during like a sunset. Go to the beach during a sunset and man, you can feel it in your soul, can't you? It's amazing. It's amazing. So getting out in nature is such a great way to practice spiritual self-care as well. Yeah, May, isn't it? Like it totally works. It's one of my go-tos. If I'm like feeling totally stressed out, I'm like, okay, what can I organize? What does my closet look like? Because a lot of times if my closet's in disarray, it's because I'm not taking care of myself. So that's totally a great way to do it. So those are the 5 main types of self-care. Which one do you like to practice the most? Or you can even do like a mix of you guys, yoga is like a great way to incorporate most of them. Really. Like I think getting on your mat, or if you don't have a mat, just practicing yoga is a really, really great way to incorporate at least 4 of the 5 different ways of self-care. So let me know if you want help even just getting started with the practice, because it's such a great way to take care of yourself through yoga. So now I'm going to kind of share with you how you can begin a self-care practice and begin making yourself a priority. So what you first want to do is recognize that your self-care routine and practice is going to be unique to you. It's not going to look like anybody else's self-care routine, and you don't want it to, okay? I used to struggle so much with this because I thought that my self-care routine had to look a specific way, because and the thing is too, I only focused on the physical aspect of self-care. So I was like, okay, I got to get up early every morning and I've got to get my HIIT workout in, or I've got to go for a run, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. And I hated it. I hated it. I hated HIIT, the high intensity interval training workouts. I hated it. I hated getting up early to go for a run. I did when I was running. I have bad knees right now, so I don't run right now anyway. But when I was running a lot before I got older, I guess I can say. I loved it. I loved running, but not early in the morning, not first thing in the morning, no way. So I was forcing myself to do these things, and it just got to a point where I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. This isn't what I want to be doing. So I just completely put aside anything for myself, any sort of self-care, because I'm like, well, what's the point? The point is that I was trying to make it look like somebody else's self-care routine instead of my own. I wasn't doing what filled me up, what lit me up, what filled my cup. So it's not going to look like anybody else's, and that's okay. Begin thinking of things that you love to do. Begin thinking of things, journal it out, write it out, or type it out, or talk it out with somebody if you need to. Begin thinking of things that you love to do and that really light you up and that just make you feel whole, make you feel complete. It can be anything. Honestly, it can be anything. For me, you guys, hiking. If you follow me on social media at all, you'll know that I love hiking. That's one of the biggest blessings for us living out in Utah now, is at my fingertips are all of these amazing places to go and explore and hike and be in nature. And I can tell when it's been too long between hikes. I can tell because I've so made it a habit, and it's something that so gives me life and fills me up, that I can tell when it's been too long between hikes. Crazy, right? So it's creating this awareness of what you love to do, what fills you up, incorporating it into your lifestyle, and then staying consistent with it. Again, it's not going to look, yours isn't going to look like mine. Maybe you don't like to hike. Maybe you like to run. Maybe, maybe you like to do all of these other things. And that's okay. That's great. Find what you love to do. My sister, she loves CrossFit. Loves it. Me? Nope. That does not, it just does not speak to me at all. So find what speaks to you, find what works for you, and begin incorporating it into your routine, okay? So first you want to identify the things that you love and that give you life and fill you up, okay? Now I'm going to give you some things to focus on and how to incorporate them, because I hear a lot of people tell me, I just don't have the time. It's just too hard. Like I can't do it. So begin small. You don't have to start in with, I'm going to devote an hour and a half of my day to self-care. No, especially if you're a busy mom, it's not possible. So choose one simple thing per day that you're going to do for you. One simple thing per day. For me, it's taking a shower. Seems really, really like not that big of a deal, right? But it's something I'm doing just for me. It makes me feel good. And it's something that I just have, it's like a non-negotiable. I will take a shower every day. And I hear so many moms go, oh, it's been so long. That doesn't mean I wash my hair every day. Today was a hair washing day, so it doesn't look bad. But I do make that time for myself every day to take a shower. Something small, you guys. It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe it can be, going, I don't know, going for a walk, or whatever speaks to you. Whatever speaks to you. So choose one simple thing per day, and then I encourage you to do one kind of medium thing per week. One thing per week. Get out of the house, or stay in the house if that's, whatever your thing is, for an hour. Okay, this does take a little bit of planning with your significant other, your husband, your partner, whatever, but it's so important to take that time. I like to go grocery shopping by myself. That's one of my ways. Or I'll go hiking by myself, my solo hikes, and it doesn't have to be long, but an hour away does wonders. It truly does wonders. It makes me miss my kids enough to where I'm a better mom when I go back. And then thirdly, choose one large thing per month. One large thing per month. And it can be getting a massage, which is such a good thing to do, you guys. So good. It's been too long since my last massage. So that is on my list coming up here, especially when the kids go back to school. It could be a massage. It can be a girls' night out. It can be going to a movie by yourself. Oh, I would love to go to the movies by myself. So it's definitely something, you know, like I said, I have this list of things that I want to do because it's so important to take care of yourself and make yourself a priority. If you're finding yourself going, I just don't know if I can do this, I'm too busy, I don't, you know, there's just no way, get your family on board, get your husband, your boyfriend, your partner, get them on board because they will begin to see a difference. My kids and my husband, they can tell when I'm not taking care of myself. They can tell. I don't have as much patience. I snap a lot quicker than I normally do, or, I just seem off. And it's because I'm not making myself a priority, and they can tell. So your family, they'll want to see you continue to thrive and grow and shine and be full of life. So they're going to want to help you with this. And if they don't initially, do it anyway. Okay? When I first started my self-care practice, Brian wasn't on board. Not the way he is now anyway. Now he's almost like shoving me out the door, like, go do your hike, go get out of here. Because he knows when I come back, I'm going to be much more mellow, much more calm. But he wasn't, and so I felt guilty. My kids would cry at the door when I was leaving, like grabbing onto me and wanting me to stay back. But you know what? I needed that time away to pour back into me and to just take care of myself, to be me, not to be mom, not to be Brian's wife, but to be Jordan. So it's important to take that time for yourself. Even if they don't quite see it yet, trust me, they will. They'll see it, okay? Share with them how important it is for you, and you will truly find that you will become a better mom, wife, partner, woman. You will become a better version of you by taking care of yourself, by making yourself a priority. And it doesn't mean that you're being selfish. It doesn't mean that at all. Not at all. It means you're taking care of yourself so that you can better take care of others. You don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to, be in this negative space. You cannot pour from an empty cup, you guys. You can't do it. It's not going to happen. You might think that you can, but it won't last long. You'll burn out and it just won't be good. It won't. Trust me. I was there for a very long time. And you know what? It's simple, right? Everything that I've said, it sounds super simple, right? But you can't just wing it. You can't just make this time for yourself magically happen, especially if you have multiple kids or if you're working a lot or whatever. It's not just going to magically happen, right? You have to make the time. I've heard so many people say that they don't have the time. You might have to get a little bit real with yourself, and see just how you're spending your time. This is another key area that I coach others through, is time management and scheduling, because I do have a lot of people say, well, that all sounds great, Jordan, but I just don't have the time. I'm just too busy. And you know what? That was me. ask my life and business coach, Natalie Bright. Ask her what I messaged her before we first started working together. I said, I just don't know if I can do this. I just don't have the time. I'm so busy. Like, you don't understand how busy I am. You guys, so I get it. I totally get it. But it wasn't until I got real with myself and I really looked at how I was spending my time, how much time I was spending on social media, how much time I was on Netflix, how much time I was, procrastinating, doing all of these things. Not that those things are bad, not that Netflix and, social media are bad. Here I am right now on two forms of it, right? But when it starts to take over and you're saying, I don't have time to XYZ, but really you have more than enough time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You kind of got to get a little bit real with yourself and say, okay, how am I really spending my time? And I think you'll find that you can spare 15 minutes a day to do something for yourself. You really, really can. And it does take some pre-planning. I wasn't really much of a planner before, before I started my journey, but it really does help, especially sharing ahead of time, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you need to get a sitter, get a sitter. If you don't, totally awesome. If your significant other can help you out. But you have to plan ahead. You have to make the time, and you have to get real with yourself on where you have that free time to be able to do it, right? Let me look through here and see if there are any questions. May, I'm not a mom, but how can you encourage a mom to do self-care? All right, so how can you encourage a mom to do self-care? I think it's showing the importance of it, like how it will benefit her in the long run. You know, hey, I see that you're really stressed out. What if I, you know, take the kids, or, you know, your daughter or son or whatever, and you can go and do whatever. I mean, it's so hard if I don't know what specifically they like to do, but you do. So say, hey, let me help you out. Let me do this for you so you can get this done, or so you can do this, or go do this for yourself. It's a great thing to, even when it comes to like holidays or birthdays or Mother's Day or that kind of thing, because we're not just going to, most moms aren't just going to purchase a massage certificate for themselves, or, you know, schedule that movie date or whatever. So a lot of times too, I love getting gifts that are kind of already pre-done for me. Like, hey, mom, I know you haven't had a massage in a while. Like, here's a certificate for a massage, or for getting your nails done, or, you know, I bought this for you to use when you go hiking. Like, my mother-in-law for my birthday bought me hiking shoes, and that gift meant so much because it's something that I can use doing something that I love. So I think it's just gently sharing with them how self-care can benefit them, and just reminding them that it's not guilty. They're not, you know, to not feel guilty. They're not being selfish. Just showing them that they're worth it. That's like the big thing that I think moms really struggle with, is feeling like we deserve to take care of ourselves. I think deep down we feel like we should, but it's really hard to make yourself a priority as a mom, because we feel like we have to take care of everybody else. So it's just emphasizing, like, yes, you can still do that and be an amazing mom. So make sure you take care of yourself first. Let me know if that helps, if that is clear, if it answers your question, because it is something, and I love that you want to encourage another mom to do self-care, because it is really hard. Oh, yay. I'm so glad, May. So you guys, just know that if you're struggling right now with self-care, I see you, and I've been there. So if you're struggling, please reach out. I would love to help you and to guide you through this journey, because you don't have to do it alone. And honestly, I struggled for so long, and I want to be able to help any mom who is struggling, or any woman, no matter what stage of life you're in, to be able to make yourself a priority. So know that you are worthy of living a full and abundant life. I 100% believe that. And I want you to be able to learn to take care of yourself. So thanks so much for joining me. Would love to know what you think, if you thought this was helpful. If you need further help, again, please message me, and I will talk with you all soon. Have a great day. Bye.